Hi, welcome back. It's been a while since we've had this intro right here, haven't we? It's mostly because just the simulated universe itself has become incredibly obsolete after Divergent Universe has come out. I really want them to do World 10 because the world system was pretty fun until you had to do it 16 times every single week because you had to farm with these immersifiers. Oh, I'm maxed out. I honestly don't care. Doesn't matter. So I just wanted to do a little update video about Destruction Only. We haven't done these in a while, as I've said. Last Destruction Only episode was at least a couple months ago. So we're just going to talk about 2.7, the future of this account, 3.0, all that good stuff, how many destruction characters we're expecting in 3.0. Just a little bit of fun, a little bit of yap. Possibly going to be a long video, so strap in boys, let's get into it. So, well, let me address the most important things first. I have a lot of Trailblaze fuel. 2,400 here, 240 here, 4 out of 8 here. I just didn't farm today because I don't really feel like it. Then I have 26 Trailblaze power. That's pretty good for the next character. I will be able to build them in 5 hours once I get them. I don't have many pulls for them though, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to farm for them a lot. I have every single destruction character in the game, as some of you may know already, but for any new viewers, there you go. I have every single one of these. I don't have every single light cone, unfortunately. I don't have blades and I don't have Dunhungs. I also have most limited 5 stars at E2, except for Yunli and Dunhung. Dunhung, I only have him at E1. E2 is a myth. E2 is not real. I lost 2 50-50s trying to get E2. That's not happening ever. And Yunli, first off, she's a child. I don't really want to pull for her. And second off, her Eidolons aren't really anything special, they just increase damage, which I'm not really a big fan of. As for someone like Jingliu, her E1 turns her into a hunt character. I did get E2, but only because I got E1, and as for Blade, then honestly his Eidolons also just increase damage. I wanted to get it because he's one of the best characters on this account. He may not be very good in the current meta, but he's pretty damn good on this account. Let's go look into their build. I'm not gonna go do these full-on account reviews where you check the inventory. Oh my god, he has so many of this stuff. Most players probably already have 11k because we barely get any upgradable relics, let's be real. And I have 20 Herda Bonds ready for the next Destruction LC coming in the Herda shop, which is actually confirmed. We're going to get a Destruction LC, a Remembrance MC, and something else I don't exactly remember. I'm gonna put it up on screen right now. It might be a Harmony LC, but I'm not really sure. I should really use these. Yay! 22,000 credits! I already have 55 million. Before we get into the account review, actually, I've done basically every single mission in the game. There's a couple I haven't done because I'm pretty lazy to do so. And as for events, then I've also done basically every event I can do in the game. There are some events that don't actually let me use any destruction characters, like the Luminary War Dance specifically. The first stage in it, you can't use any destruction characters. It just forces you to use a bunch of characters, which none of are destruction characters, which is unfortunate. And then any of the other ones I just haven't completed fully because, well, there are no more Jade Awards to do the checkmark on them. All these others, they were pretty useful to fully complete, do the checkmark on them. But these ones right here, the final rewards that you could do to fully 100% them, they don't really have any Jades, unfortunately, so I'm just not going to do them. And then Tales of the Fantastic is pretty hard for this account. There were some bosses in this game that gave me quite a bit of trouble, but as soon as I got Firefly and Yunli, everything became incredibly easy. These 3 heal themselves, so they're very, very useful, and unless it's an enemy that attacks 57 times in one turn, like Hule, it's pretty easy. Then Jingliu is just there for a lot of damage because she may be bad in the meta, but I have her E2 and S1, so she's pretty good. It's basically no longer a challenge unless we're talking about the MOC, which we're going to talk about later, but let's just get into the account review already, get into the characters. First off, Jingliu, probably the most important one. She's probably the character I've used the most on this account besides Blade, because Blade is definitely the best on this account. He basically never dies. She's got 52 crit rate, 255 crit damage, and I haven't put on her new set yet, because I actually can't auto the new domain without dying constantly over and over again. I have to manually do it with consumables, which I don't really like doing. This one right here, I can't actually do it without dying constantly. Can't auto it, unfortunately. The weaknesses aren't really very forgiving. There's no ice, there's no fire. I mean, this guy's fire, but not the elite. Shut up, dude. Lightning weakness isn't really very useful, since we don't really have any lightning destruction characters. Other than, I don't know, maybe one? Might have forgotten about him or something, I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to put on her new set unless we get a character that allows me to auto her new domain, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Because it's pretty difficult, honestly. Hey, there's HP inflation in the MOC, there's HP inflation in the goddamn Relic Caverns as well. Firefly is probably one of my best built characters. I built her in one day, actually. It was very easy to build her. I've got her 157 speed, not 160, but it doesn't really matter with her. And then 292.1% break effect. Of course, I've got her Light Cone, and I've got her E2. Put her on her best in slot relic set. They're all pretty neat relics. Oh, and by the way, every single character is maxed out fully, except these two. Everyone has a star on them. All these characters have a star on them except these two. Even more useless than Honkai somehow. Yunli, I've got her at 55.2 crit rate, 190 crit damage. You notice I have her 137 speed, which isn't really the standard Yunli build, I guess you could say. And that is because so she can take more turns and heal herself more. If she had like less than 134 speed, she'd take less turns and she wouldn't be able to heal herself as much, which means less HP, which means less survivability, which means I die. We've got her on Valorous and Duran. Just very simple Yunli build, besides the attack boots actually being speed boots. Blade, I've got him on his best in slot relic set, and then I don't really care. Honestly, I just gave him the best HP pieces I could from any relic set I had, which was Rudolent, coincidentally. And over here, I gave him his Longevous Disciple set. Now this useless guy, why is he so useless? He basically does no damage. I have him on Jingli Yu's Light Cone, but overall for this account, I have a feeling this will end up doing more damage than his own Light Cone. I don't really want his Light Cone. As I said, I tried getting E2, but I wasn't able to get E2, unfortunately. It's just a myth at this point. Completely bricked without it, so he's just going to be useless forever. And as soon as the next Destruction 5-star drops, he's going to become even more useless because he's also imaginary. Got him on his best relic sets as well. Despite this, he's still incredibly useless. I hate playing with him so much. Imagine needing 3 skill points in a team full of 3 other main DPS characters that also, coincidentally, need skill points. This guy's very useless. I don't like him. Hook, Misha, and Shui. Shui is probably my favorite out of these 3. She is one of my favorite characters in the whole game, honestly. Her playstyle is really, really fun. I really like it. I just have her on these random pieces, honestly. I gave her Izumo mostly because I had just had good pieces on it and because it gives you extra attack that she definitely needs. Because without it, she'd have like less than 1,600, which is very awful. She doesn't have much speed, but that's fine. She has 176 break effect and she's using Misha's Light Cone. Best case scenario, I would have gotten another Firefly Light Cone that I would have given to Shui, but I didn't, unfortunately. I still got very lucky with Firefly builds though, so I'm not going to complain there. I've also got her E6, which is very nice. She's probably the only 4-star destruction. She's definitely the only 4-star destruction unit besides Destruction MC that I actually have at E6, which is very, very nice. She's holding her sister's hands, look at that. Very cute. And definitely one of the best ones at that as well. This going down to 6 is very nice. She actually heals herself a little bit with her follow-up attack, right there. She heals with her follow-up attack right there, which is pretty nice. I mean, it doesn't give that much HP, but in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty good, I guess. As for Misha, I just gave him as much effect hit rate as possible, so he can freeze as much as possible. I should have given him more speed, but doesn't really matter in the end. He's not E6 just yet. In E6, recovers a skill point after using an ult. I mean, that doesn't really matter. Just use your basic attack, dude. Your skill point isn't gonna do much damage, I promise you. Give him the ice hit because that's just the best I had. Give him as much effect hit rate as possible, as much speed as I could. Then ended up with this. Best case scenario, I would have given him either this set or the other one. I forgot which one it was exactly. Maybe it was Broken Keel? I don't know. Whichever one it was that increased damage of the same type in the party, which would have made Jingli Yu just a little bit more powerful. And he's also very, very nice because he has some def reduction in his kit right here at E2, which is very good. He's the only source of debuffing I have in this whole account, so he's kinda useful. I don't really know what Lycone to put on him though. There's no effect hit rate destruction Lycones. I used to really use Hook back in the day before I got before I got the superior fire destruction unit. After Firefly, Hook became pretty goddamn useless as well. I'm gonna remove the star off of her. I never use her at all. I just use these characters. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the only characters I use. And eventually, I'll be able to bench this guy as well. Just waiting for my day to come out. That's gonna be very, very fun. Now, as for the future of this account, we'll just discuss it while doing the MOC. Of course, I am going to eventually beat MOC 12 with it. When I beat MOC 12 with it, and maybe this one right here for the 200 Jades, which would be very, very nice eventually, I'm going to also try to beat Pure Fiction and Apocalyptic Shadow with it. Apocalyptic Shadow is probably the hardest because the bosses in Apocalyptic Shadow take the longest to beat and do the most damage, so they're going to become pretty difficult unless they can heal you. The only time I actually got 9 out of 12 stars was during the 2.4 Apocalyptic Shadow with Fantilia, which actually healed you. It was very nice, but I couldn't get 12 stars unfortunately. After I eventually full clear all of these modes, I'm going to actually, well, retire this account for good. Maybe not retire for good, I might start pulling like as many Harmony supports as possible, just turn it into a random alt account, but I don't know if I actually will. I might just fully quit it, unless the new destruction characters are really fun to play with. I wasn't able to do this MOC 10 unfortunately. I have beaten MOC 10 before, but that was during an easier MOC. I think it was doing 2.4, which was a pretty easy MOC. This one right here, it's not really that good for destruction only. Lots of CC. I absolutely despise CC in this game. CC and Dot. Dot is also my worst nightmare, worst enemy. And in MOC 10, there's also Hule who attacks you so much, you basically can't survive. These guys also attack you a lot. They spawn in too many of these grunts. You also die. And then in MOC 11, I have absolutely zero chance of doing it, because the bug boss is there and the bug boss also does a lot of DOT, which is not a very fun time. It's basically only able to 3-star MOC 7. But as I said, I have 3-starred MOC 10 before. It just really depends on the enemies. As long as they don't have too much too much CC and too much DOT, then we're fine. But Memory of Chaos is definitely my main goal here. If I end up never clearing Apocalyptic Shadow, then I'll just do, I don't know, monthly updately checkups on this account every time there's a new character. Get them, try to clear Apocalyptic Shadow. If I don't, fail, quit for another month and then come back again. Same thing for Pure Fiction. I don't really care about them in this account. I just care about the Memory of Chaos, really. Let me know what you think. Which one of these is the most fun for you? Don't switch quickly between them or your laptop that is actually a potato will start to lag. Okay, there we go. Now it's properly switching. There aren't going to be any destruction characters for a while, not in 2.7 and not in 3.0, unfortunately. There may be a Firefly, there is a Firefly rerun in 2.7, but I don't think I'm going to go for her E6 anytime soon. I mean, the extra 50% weakness break efficiency is very nice, but it's 4 goddamn Eidolons. Overall, it's not very useful. If it had her own source of super break that was much stronger, it would have been pretty good. But E6 Firefly has to be one of the weakest E6s in the game. Honestly, it's garbage. Don't ever get it. But yeah, that's it. Just wanted to do a quick destruction only update for any of the OGs that used to watch this account. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Join the Express Run Discord server for a fun community to interact with all about mainstream gacha games. I will see you next time.